North Korea, the hot dog ceiling incident, 1967. In the frigid February of 1967, beneath the flickering fluorescence of Pyongyang's Central Ministry building, a scent began to rise. It was not the scent of ink or stale paper or wet uniforms. It was something far more sinister. It was processed meat, specifically hot dogs. This is not a metaphor. This is not exaggeration. This is historical record, though scrubbed from all public archives. This is the story of the hot dog ceiling incident. It began, as most absurdities do, with a fax. A classified transmission from a Soviet black site on the Kamchatka Peninsula, dated 3rd February 1967, instructed Korean officials to commence Nutritional Surveillance Protocol 9 Gamma. The message was poorly translated, believed by analysts to have been corrupted by microwave interference during transit. The key phrase, protein matrix compliance ceiling deployment, was interpreted by the Korean Ministry of Material Harmony as a directive to install thousands of state-approved hot dogs into the ceilings of government buildings. Thus began the operation. Overnight, hot dogs were delivered via unmarked vans to key ministries. Agriculture, truth, traffic, weather, and the elusive Ministry of Simulated Morale. The sausages were hoisted into ventilation ducts, threaded through ceiling tiles, stapled under acoustic foam. No explanation, no press release, only the sizzling sound of something not quite natural in the air. By March, all top-floor rooms in the capital emitted a low-frequency hum, audible only to dogs, spies, and those who had eaten from the forbidden vending machines installed in 1959. Reports began to emerge of minor hallucinations among typists and janitors, dreams of mustard oceans, men in suits made entirely of relish. A janitor at the Meteorology Bureau claimed to have seen the sun blink twice. Then came the jazz. A rogue frequency began broadcasting through the Ministry of Foreign Encoding. A saxophone solo played endlessly on loop. It was not any known recording. Experts could not identify the performer. The building's water cooler vibrated in time with the beat. Files spontaneously alphabetized themselves to the rhythm. A diplomat's coffee began swirling counterclockwise. Minister Kang of Internal Staircase Logistics filed the first official complaint, noting excessive funk levels and repetitive melodic intrusion. He was later found unconscious beneath his desk, drenched in yellow brine. By April, paranoia seeped through the regime like steam through a rice cooker. Agents of the Ministry of Smell confirmed that the odor had intensified. Interrogations revealed that several mid-level bureaucrats believed the hot dogs were recording thoughts and transmitting them to the moon. One even claimed to have received instructions from the ceiling to bring the condiments to the revolution. Theories proliferated. Some said the hot dogs were Soviet surveillance meat embedded with crystallized listening salt. Others believed they were biological antennas, receiving capitalist brainwaves from Okinawa fast food joints. One technician insisted the sausages were a failed attempt at nutrient-based mind control, calibrated by frequency and temperature. But nothing prepared anyone for what happened on April 17th. It began at 14:02 local time in the Archives Division of the Ministry of Official Remembering. An entire ceiling tile collapsed under the weight of meat. Dozens of hot dogs spilled onto a government typist. She screamed. The typewriter began to type by itself. The phrase repeated endlessly, "I am the bratwurst that sees all." Witnesses report a momentary blackout. When the lights returned, every hot dog had vanished. Security footage, what little remained after unexplained static distortion, showed several hot dogs moving, not falling, moving, crawling along the ceiling panels before disappearing into the walls. Electrical interference fried 10 circuit breakers. A portrait of Kim Il-sung fell from the wall and shattered, the only time this happened in recorded history without immediate wind or structural explanation. Emergency meetings were held. A special division was formed, the Department of Suspicious Edibility. Their mandate, retrieve and interrogate the remaining hot dogs. Initial containment efforts were fruitless. One hot dog recovered from beneath the floorboards of the Ministry of Geographical Denial was found to be vibrating at 14.2 hertz and humming the melody of the Internationale in reverse. Upon freezing, it began to leak binary code. The code translated into an incomplete recipe for German potato salad and an address in Busan that no longer existed. By May, contact with the Ministry of Simulated Morale had been lost. All windows were blacked out. Entry was denied. A courier who approached the front door reported hearing a low, meaty chant from within. Meat above, faith below, buns shall rise. Diplomatic channels with China were open. Soviet advisors denied any knowledge of Protocol 9 Gamma. One operative, drunk on potato vodka, confessed that it was just a prank fax sent by bored cryptographers during a snowstorm. He was immediately reassigned to Siberian train duty. Back in Pyongyang, the phenomenon escalated. Civilians began reporting dreams of long, steaming corridors lined with bunless meat. A student from the State Accordion Conservatory claimed she could taste politics every time she smelled charcoal. A pigeon fell from the sky with a tiny paper wrapper around its leg. It contained a mustard stain in the shape of the Korean peninsula. Fearing ideological contamination, the regime launched Operation Sausage Silence. All hot dog references were scrubbed from official records. School textbooks rebranded them as protein tubes of the West. Cartoons depicting sausage-based enemies were hastily replaced with morally ambiguous turnips. The final event occurred on June 19, 1967. At 3:14, every functioning radio in Pyongyang emitted the same 3-second burst of audio, a deep voice whispering in German-accented Korean, Das Wurst kommt heim. Translation, the sausage comes home. Simultaneously, all remaining hot dogs combusted. The ceilings were scorched. Several low-ranking officials were hospitalized for salt inhalation. The saxophone ceased. In the aftermath, a cover story was disseminated. Faulty heating ducts caused meat-based hallucinations among overworked clerical staff. The incident was buried. Surviving witnesses were reassigned to rural beet farming communes. All typewriters were replaced with models unable to type the word hot dog. But in certain corners of the bureaucracy, in windowless rooms beneath rooms, the legend persists. A janitor in Haeju claims he still hears sizzling above his mop closet. A retired stenographer in Hamhung swears she receives messages through her toaster, coated in sesame seeds. And somewhere, buried in a refrigerated archive behind 7 locked doors, lies the last surviving fragment of ceiling tile. Stained yellow, pulsing faintly in time, with a music only it remembers. History forgets what it must, but the ceiling remembers, and the meat waits.